up, Man Hour Nation? Did you know that since 2008, over 50% of the Heisman Trophy winners say either come from Oklahoma or Alabama? Well, since 2015, 72% of them have come from the Heisman winner come from Oklahoma, Alabama. What the fuck?
I am going 6-0 in the division because the rest of the division sucks.
This is the best division in football, Tori. Take that step back. We are seeing the true quarterback that he really is, which he is not a very good quarterback.
Welcome to the Man Now, where we taking over. It's time to give you them facts. Won't miss a game or two, cause we here for you and we reporting all of them stats. We coming to you live to keep you updated. Broadcast across the country, we the fan favorites. Break the volume to the max and don't nobody touch it. We crossing topics off the list, addressing every subject. So if you ain't got a clue, then you can tune in and give it 24 hours and we back again. Breaking news, new scoops, we the top dogs. From the fields to the courts, we report it all. Buzzer beaters through your speakers, we the ones to call. Trust us for the news if it's got a ball. Giving you the top stories cause we love the turf. Tell a friend to tune in and where you heard it first. Yeah, you're listening to the Man Now. We taking over, it's time to give you them stats. Yeah, you listen to the Man Now. Miss a game or two cause we reporting all of them facts. Yeah, you listen to the Man Now. We taking over, it's time to give you them facts. Turn the speakers up a little loud. Miss a game or two cause we reporting all of them stats. Because you listen to the Man Hour.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckasha here with the Man Hour. Be sure to head over to manhourradio.com and check out the merchandise page. The BC Merchants merch. We got the alternate logo tee out there. We got the original logo tee out there. Of course, we got Team Buck merch out there as well. Guys, check it out. manhourradio.com. You will not be disappointed. Use promo code HOLIDAY10, all capitalized letters, and you can still get merch before Christmas if you order tonight. So right here, December 21st, 8:02 p.m. East Coast time. You still have time to order your merch and get it in just in time for Christmas. So guys, we have an action-packed show for tonight. We're going to talk some Las Vegas Raiders, Cleveland Browns. We're going to talk a little bit of Chicago Bears and Minnesota Vikings. We're going to talk some Daniel Jones. We're going to talk Le'Veon Bell. We got Luke G joining us on the show tonight. Here coming up here in about 30 minutes here on the Man Hour. Really excited to have my man Luke G on. He always has the great level-headed knowledge, and I'm always excited to talk to Luke G. And what else we got? We got COVID. Imagine that. COVID is running rampant through NHL, NBA, NFL, pretty much everywhere you look. COVID is running rampant. So, guys, like I said, if you are new here, consider subscribing to the YouTube channel. We have a poll going over here at youtube.com/manhour. Did the Baltimore Ravens make a mistake for going for two last Sunday versus the Green Bay Packers? Obviously, hindsight's 2020. So I want to know your thoughts here in the comments, guys. Have a civilized conversation of if they made a mistake or not going for two. But we got to break the show down here coming up. Combs is running a little late, so he'll be joining us here hopefully in hour number 2. But guys, let's talk a little bit about the Cleveland Browns and Las Vegas Raiders from last night. Obviously, guys, the Cleveland Browns had 22 players missing from COVID. That is huge. I mean, they had 8 starters missing, and then obviously, the rest were all role players or backup players. They had a third-string quarterback in Nick Mullins playing for the Cleveland Browns last night. However, guys, they were still competing. Yes, they ended up losing the game 16-14. Derek Carr had a last-second drive to win the game, put him into field goal range. So we have to propose the question to the chat here, to the people that are listening all over the world in the UK, eating their key and drinking their crumpets, as I like to say. With that being said, are the Cleveland Browns a playoff caliber team? Are the Cleveland Browns going to make the playoffs? The answer to that question is yes. They are hands down a playoff caliber team. If they would have won that game last night on Monday Night Football, they would have been in first place in the AFC North. They would have been first place, and the Ravens would have been knocked out of the playoffs. Guys, in the AFC North right now, they have a 4th place seed, 8th place seed, 9th place seed, and 12th place seed. So by the Cleveland Browns losing that game, they went from a 4th place seed in the playoffs down to a 12th seed in the playoffs. Obviously, there's no 12th seed play in there. But, guys, the Cleveland Browns are a really good team. Their defense is there. Their offense is somewhat there. I mean, think about this. I mean, they still scored 13 points with a quarterback that hasn't done crap in the NFL. Even when he was with the 49ers, he just wasn't very good. And they didn't have Landry Jones. Kareem Hunt was still out, and they had a lot of missing links. So, do the Cleveland Browns make the playoffs? I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say no. The Cleveland Browns will not make the playoffs this season, unfortunately. It's just they have too many factors going against them with the Baker Mayfield contract situation. Is he the future? Is he this, right? Landry Jones kind of wants out, I guess, maybe now. Is their coaching staff even the right coaching staff for this team? I mean, there are so many questions swirling around. So, no, the Cleveland Browns do not make the playoffs, unfortunately. But what is exciting if you are a Cleveland Browns fan is you have to be excited what the future could possibly hold. I mean, whether you want to admit that Baker Mayfield is your future, Baker Mayfield is your future. He clearly is not your problem. I think it is the coaching staff that is your problem. I mean, because many people want to look at the Baltimore Ravens, for example. They are saying the coaching staff is holding Lamar Jackson back. Well, I think the Kevin Stefanski and the rest of that coaching staff over in Cleveland is holding Baker Mayfield back. They are trying to make him do stuff that he is not built to do in the NFL. Unfortunately, he just needs to, give it to Kareem Hunt and Chubb, 13, 14 times a piece and throw underneath 20 times a game. And the Cleveland Browns are going to win a lot of games. So Baker Mayfield is obviously the future in Cleveland. Landry Jones will be there. I think Kareem Hunt is on a contract year, so he'll probably be back. Let's just be flat out honest about it. And they are going to be just fine next year. Will they be playoff bound next year? It depends what their schedule looks like, obviously, but they're definitely a 10-win team, no doubt in my mind. So we do have some people popping up in the chat here. I got Drew in there. What's up, Drew? Drew is a member over here at youtube.com/manhour. If you guys would like to be like Drew and become a member, hit that join button. And if you want to come to Las Vegas with us or have a chance to come to Las Vegas with us, simply become a 5-9 member or higher over there at youtube.com/manhour. You get entered into win a Vegas trip with us during the NFL draft during this year's draft, obviously. And of course, we got my man Alpha Rob in there. He says, I find it hard. Sorry, let me trek back a little bit here. Let's go ahead and dive into this COVID thing here, since that's the first thing that Alpha Rob has said here. Alpha Rob says, I find it odd that they've been promoting the vaccine hard the past couple of days and now everyone has it. So, honestly, Alpha Rob, I am totally 100 confused about this whole COVID situation. Let's just be flat out honest about it. Now, I can bullshit my way through a lot of stuff, but this is something that I literally just do not understand. So I had a mandate at work saying that I had to get a vaccine. So if I were to get COVID and I tested positive, I can still come to work because I couldn't pass it along or something to that to that effect. Now they've obviously did further tests or studies or whatever. I still have to quarantine for 3 days. I don't know. It's stupid. So obviously there's a new strand floating around and everybody's getting it, right? But what I find odd is not that they've been promoting vaccines, because I believe it's over 95% of the NFL is vaccinated. So I don't think that is the big issue there. What the issue is now is that the NFL is bending their own rules that they've had in place all year. So they could basically have, a games happening, right? Because there are some big games happening. Like we have the Browns versus Packers coming up on Christmas Day. Like we have the Cowboys versus Eagles coming up. There are some big games happening, and the NFL doesn't want to forfeit these games. So the NFL alone has bent their own rules. So if you if you are vaccinated and you do not show signs of, if you don't have symptoms of COVID-19, but you still test positive, you only got to quarantine for 1 day now, and you're back on the field. So let's look at the Kansas City Chiefs for example. Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Ward, their kicker Buckner, all tested positive for COVID-19 on Monday, and then they have all been vaccinated. They all tested positive for COVID-19 on Monday. On Wednesday, they're eligible to return to practice. So I don't get it. I don't know. I'm just. This is the one thing in life that has truly just baffled me about this whole thing, and I'm very, very confused. And then Alpha Rob says, I seen a Christmas commercial where a kid is saying, I don't want toys or games, I just want the vaccine. Oh my God. That is absolutely ridiculous. You must live in a blue state. So, like, I kind of want to get political, like, anyway, whatsoever, left wing, right wing. I don't care where you land. I land in the common sense realm, but my kid's not asking for a fucking vaccine for Christmas. He wants his fucking Paw Patrol, all 6 characters, dogs and all. But whatever, we'll get later into that. Alpha Rob says Browns are not making the playoffs. I do agree with that, Alpha. The Browns are definitely not making the playoffs this year. I don't think the Browns will win another game for the rest of the season. Let's look at their schedule moving forward. They play the Packers on Christmas Day, which I will be at. Pretty excited about that. And then they travel to Pittsburgh. That's another Monday night game. It looks like. Or no, sorry, that's a Sunday night game. They don't have Monday night games anymore in January, right? And then they play the Bengals. Yeah, that's 0-3. Last 3. That puts you at 7-10 on the season. Definitely not good enough to make the playoffs. So yeah, you guys, we're 100% right. The Browns are not making the playoffs this year. Rob says if they get rid of Baker, where are they going to get? So let's think about this logically here. Well, let me start it off first. I don't think the Browns will get rid of Baker Mayfield. But if they were to get rid of Baker Mayfield, there have been talks of a 3-team trade of Deshaun Watson going to Miami, Tua going to some other team, and then that quarterback going to Houston. So Tua could go to Cleveland. There is a divisional opponent in the Baltimore Ravens, and the backup quarterback that has been playing really, really well. Huntley, he is up for a contract. They could pick him up. What better way to get out of the Baltimore Ravens than to basically fight fire with fire? You have two guys with the like abilities, and Lamar and Huntley going head to head. Those would be some great games, I think. And I think Huntley would take the better of the two. But then let's look at starting quarterbacks around the NFL right now. We have Aaron Rodgers. We have Teddy Bridgewater. We have Jameis Winston, Jimmy G. Heck, you have Russell Wilson that are possibly all on the move at the end of this season. Jimmy G, I think, is for sure out of San Francisco. Whether he waives his no trade clause or not, I think he gets cut or moves on. Like, either way, he is out in San Francisco. Russell, it all depends on Pete Carroll, but I feel the writing is on the wall with Russ as well. So why not start completely fresh in Seattle with a new quarterback and a new coach at the same time? So Russ is out. Aaron Rodgers, who knows what Aaron Rodgers is going to do, right? Like, nobody really knows, but I feel like the writing is on the wall. He is going elsewhere as well. And I also think Winston is out in New Orleans because I feel that they think Taysom Hill is their guy for whatever reason. And that is just a simple gut feeling that I have there. So then you look at a possible quarterback in Sam Darnold. Is he on the move from Carolina? How about Daniel Jones, which we'll get into later in the show as well. So right there are 6 possible quarterbacks that could come to Cleveland in the offseason if Baker Mayfield were to leave. So if I have money on the situation, I would say the two front runners to come to Cleveland would be Jimmy Garoppolo or Daniel Jones, because I think both of those respective quarterbacks are out for the rest of the season. If my back is against the wall and I had to choose one, I'm picking Daniel Jones to come to Cleveland to replace Baker Mayfield. So Daniel Jones to Cleveland is my choice in that opportunity. If the Cleveland Browns were to get rid of Baker, which I don't think they will. So let me ask you guys this. Do you guys think Baker will be out in Cleveland? We have a couple people in the chat here. Guys, let me know. Give me a hashtag yes or a hashtag no if you guys think Baker will be out of Cleveland after this year. I believe this is his 5th-year option as well, so he has an opportunity to move on or not in the end. So let's scroll through a couple more comments. Drew says, don't get me started, Buck, on the COVID thing. Yeah, Drew, I think you and me are kind of on the same boat here. Common sense is very, very lacking in a lot of the world, unfortunately, my man. So let's talk a little bit about the AFC North, the bipolarness of the AFC North. It seems like, guys, week to week to week, that teams cannot put back-to-back good games. We see the Baltimore Ravens, score 44 points. Oh, let me get the score exactly for you. What was it? Oh, it was 34-31 versus the Vikings, and then they kind of stutter and sense then, right? But so let's flash back to them when they played Cincinnati. They lost 41-17, and then the next week they scored 34 points. The Cincinnati Bengals are the same way. You don't know which Cincinnati teams is going to show up. The Super Bowl caliber Bengals or the first round pick caliber Bengals. And then you have the Steelers. The Steelers probably might be the most bottom of the line, or the not bottom of the line, but the most level line team in the division. And then of course you got the Baltimore Ravens that who knows what they're doing. So when we look at the AFC North, guys, there are times that we're like, oh, all 4 teams are going to make the playoffs. Now we're like, man, are any of the teams even going to make the playoffs? Obviously, one has to make, because one has to win the division. So the question that I have that I'm proposing to myself here is, who is going to win the AFC North? Currently, we have Cincinnati in first place, Baltimore in second, Pittsburgh in third, and Cleveland Browns in 4th place in that division. They all separated by 1 game. Cincinnati and Baltimore are both 8-6 on the season. Pittsburgh is 7-7, and then of course Cleveland is now 6-7 on the season. So when it comes down to it, obviously many people say, "Oh, the Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson, yada yada yada." Guys, Lamar Jackson's probably done for the season. I was talking to my wife about it, and the bone bruise that he has in his ankle, it is not a heal overnight. It is not something that heals in a week. This is going to take months and months and months to heal. So he will not be 100% going into the playoffs or even next week, even with the 2 weeks off. And they have so many injuries and COVID and everything else. Guys, the Baltimore Ravens will miss the playoffs this season. Write it down right now. The Baltimore Ravens will miss the playoffs. Right now, they're currently 8th seed. They are out. Then we look at the Cleveland Browns. We've already put them out. They are done. Shoot them in the pasture. They will be eliminated next week when they lose to the Green Bay Packers. Then we have the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cincinnati Bengals. The 2 teams that could definitely make a run if they had the chance to. 2 teams that are probably the most built to make a divisional win push of it, like obviously. So let's start with the Cincinnati Bengals. Let's pull up their schedule. Let's look at their record. Right now, they are 8-6, like we said. They end the season versus the Baltimore Ravens, the Kansas City Chiefs, and then at the Cleveland Browns. Wow. Now, Everything that I said about the Ravens, like about them being backs against the wall, Lamar Jackson being hurt, yada, 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 it's still a division game. Yes, the Bengals are at home. Ravens are going to be hungry. What better way to feed that hunger than to knock off the number one team in the division, right? That's not going to happen. They beat the Ravens. They lose to the Chiefs, and then they lose to the Browns to end out the season, making them 9-8 on the season. So then we look at the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers are sitting at 7-6-1. I misspoke earlier. They do play the Kansas City Chiefs this week at Arrowhead. Then they play the Cleveland Browns and then the Ravens. They have a chance against the Kansas City Chiefs because the Kansas City Chiefs will probably be short-handed. No Tyreek Hill, no Travis Kelce, no Ward, no kicker, right? They beat the Browns on a Sunday night football there. And then they probably beat the Ravens as well to end out the season. That puts them at 9-6-1. Sorry, 9-7-1 on the season. Then it comes down to a tiebreaker here because both teams will have 9 wins on the season. And then Cincinnati Bengals will get the nod. So I think the Cincinnati Bengals will come out of the AFC North this season and basically be a first round loss because they're just not built for the playoffs, unfortunately. Sorry to say it, but it is sad but true. So, guys, we are up against the first break on the night, but before we go to the break, let me address some more of these comments, as we do have Luke G coming up here right after the break as well. Hopefully, he pops in here very, very shortly. There is a poll going all over there, guys. Did the Ravens make a mistake for going for 2 versus the Green Bay Packers? Exclamation point, vote, space in the yes or no, whichever one you want to vote for. Drew says no, they did not make a mistake going for 2. And then obviously follow Combs on the old Twitter machine. And then Alpha Rob comes out and Icon says, but are Jones and Jimmy better than Baker? I don't think they are. So this goes back to if Baker Mayfield gets cut or released by the Cleveland Browns. Daniel Jones and Jimmy Joe better than Baker Mayfield. So I think Alpha Rob, I think Daniel Jones, Jimmy G, and Baker Mayfield are kind of all on that level playing field, right? It all depends on who buys into what quarterback. Because right now, I think the Cleveland Browns team is not buying into Baker for whatever reason. Whether it's the Odell Beckham after effect, after leaving, is it the playing hurt when you should have been sitting like this whole 4 or 5 weeks so you would have been healed so we could make a playoff push? Like I don't know. But for whatever reason, the Cleveland Browns do not seem to be wanting to play for Baker Mayfield. And I don't think they would want to play for Daniel Jones either. I think Jimmy G on the Cleveland Browns would make the most sense because he has been to a Super Bowl. Yes, they did lose that Super Bowl to the Kansas City Chiefs, but I believe he has a Super Bowl ring with the Patriots, maybe even 2. So he has that Super Bowl experience, and that's where the Cleveland Browns want to be. So if they were on the Cleveland Browns, those 3 quarterbacks, give me Jimmy G. Now, if they're on other teams, San Francisco 49ers, give me Baker. If they're on Miami Dolphins, probably give me Daniel Jones. So there are so many options out there, but for the Cleveland Browns, Jimmy G is the correct answer there, I think. Drew says Jimmy is better than Baker on the Cleveland Browns. Yes, I do think so. And then Drew says, yes, he got the 49ers to the Super Bowl, just like I said. Okay, there we go. You guys are having a back and forth conversation. Good conversation as always, guys. But guys, we're up against the break. It is 8:25 East Coast time. We'll be right back here, guys, on the Man Hour with my man Luke G. Hopefully, fingers crossed. We'll be back.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckheiser here, flying solo tonight, so be sure to head over to manhourradio.com and check out the merchandise page. And of course, guys, if you are new here to youtube.com/man, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon, and get all notifications that we do upload clips each and every day over here at Man Hour. If you missed any part of the show whatsoever, you can find us on iTunes, iHeartRadio, of course, Spotify, or better yet, go to Good Pods, download that application, search for Man Hour Sports Talk. Watch the episode there. Give us a ranking, right, guys? Right now, we're ranked 4th on all sports talk radio shows over there. We would love to be number 1. So the more you guys interact with us over there on the Good Pods, share us, get us to that number 1 ranking, guys. We are also on the we're also on the iHeartRadio Podcast Awards as well. Right now, we are finalists for a sports podcast of the year and football podcast of the year as well. So, guys, the voting should be, I believe it ends January 15th on that. There's a panel of judges, and they rank us and all that good stuff. And hopefully, guys, pretty soon here, there'll be a nice little plaque right there saying Sports Podcast of the Year. That would be fantastic, wouldn't it? So, guys, like I said, welcome back here. And you guys are having a conversation over here in the chat about Jimmy G, and I saw one comment that kind of intrigued me a little bit here. Drew says that Jimmy G isn't a good fit for the Cleveland Browns. I'm just saying that his talent and ability-wise, he is better. So Drew, why is Jimmy G not good for Cleveland Browns? What do the Cleveland Browns do well right now? They hand the ball off and they pass when needed. What did the 49ers do when they made it to the Super Bowl? They ran the hell out of the ball and passed it when needed. That's how they went. They were 12-4 that year. I'm not mistaken. I can't remember for sure. They were dominant in the playoffs. They ran all over everybody until they got behind on the Kansas City, and then what's his face? His name slipping my mind. The head coach, over there, panicked and started to throw the ball, and that's not what Jimmy G does. What he does well is run the ball, setting up that pass, short game with a couple deep throws every now and then. And that's exactly what the Cleveland Browns are built to do. Baker Mayfield just doesn't have the arm talent to push the ball down the field accurately every time or read the open guy. I mean, we've all seen the highlight clip of Odell Beckham Jr. being open like 11 minutes worth, right? You can say the same thing about Landry Jones and Hooper and everybody else, right? He just does not read the field well, and I think Jimmy G does. So Alpha Rob says to me, Jimmy G is Taylor Heinicke, I think, right? Taylor Heinicke is probably going to be a force in the league, guys, to be honest with you. Once he has the team on his reins and he is healthy, Taylor Heinicke will probably be a top 15 quarterback in the league. This year, he has willed the football team to 6 or 7 wins right now. I believe they're playing. So they're actually playing right now here on Tuesday Night Football. Them and the Eagles are both 6 and 7, and the winner of that will be in the 8th seed in the NFC, if I'm not mistaken. So very thick in the playoff hunt. Yes, the Washington football team has a great defense, but Chase Young is out with a torn Achilles ACL. I can't remember for sure. Sorry about that. But he is out, and they're riddled with injuries as well. I mean, so Taylor Heinicke was kind of thrown in the fire a few days before the season started when Fitzpatrick got hurt. So I like Taylor Heinicke, guys. Jimmy G. So to compare the two, I mean, I think they're both solid quarterbacks, so only time will tell on that. Drew says Daniel Jones is more Heinicke to me. So, are you guys talking down on Heinicke? Like, are you saying that he is not good, or are you? I mean, just let me know. Like, what are the true thoughts on Taylor Heinicke here? So guys, let me know if he's good or if he's bad. Or is he like Ryan Fitzpatrick and good for 3 or 4 games and time to move on? But speaking of moving on here, we are waiting for Luke G to join us here on his Tuesday night segment. His show is running a little long tonight, so we're not going to fault the guy. He does a great show over there. Luke G's Field Review. Guys, link is in the description, so be sure to check out his show any chance you can get. He is live every Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. East Coast time, if I'm not mistaken. So let's talk a little bit about the Vikings and Bears last night. Obviously, guys, that game, the Vikings won because the Bears are just flat out horrible. Let's just be honest about that. So with that being said, there were a lot of personal fouls last night. There were several ejections as well. One of the biggest hits was against Justin Fields when he slid and the linebacker for the Vikings kind of shoulder chucked him in the face. So to me, hindsight, it looked like he was trying to get up and get out of the way of the slide, but this fake slide stuff that is happening in the NFL right now has to stop, because you are going to get your quarterback killed. Justin Field did a fake slide earlier in that game, so damn right I'm going to lay his ass out the next time he tries to come and fake slide me. No question in my mind about that. So we will get deeper into that here later in the show, but we do have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Luke G, on the show. What's going on, Luke? Ooh. I love it, man. Love it.
who have parents who is not technologically sound, please make sure you call them and check on them to make sure that everything is good with it before you got anything to do. I'm excited to be here. It's a lot to talk about. I heard you talk about the Vikings and Bears. That's a good topic to talk about. But yeah, I got a good one today. I got a good topic today. But I'm feeling pretty good.
So before we get into sports talk here, Luke, because like obviously you are a wealth of sports knowledge. If you look up encyclopedias, Luke G's name is there with all the football knowledge out there. What was your mom trying to DVR? Was it at least a good show?
The show was what the hell is the show called? It's God, what is this show called?
1883, Yellowstone. Come on, baby.
No, it's oh my God. It's like I can picture it in my head. I just don't know. I don't watch it. It's like it's a film for like women. Jesus.
Desperate Housewives of New York.
No. Oh, there it is. I got it. She was trying to DVR. Believe it or not, she was trying to DVR the old episodes of I Love Lucy. That's what it was. What? She wanted to DVR the old episodes of I Love Lucy.
That show still aired right now? Still airing right now?
I've told her that you do realize that it is on Hulu. And she's like, no, and I'm not finna go there. I just want to record the episode. So she wanted to record that, and she also wanted to record she said that she missed the Masked Singer.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know. Don't get me to going. She DVRs everything, man. You name it. You're talking about The Voice. She DVRs it. She's into. She wants to see this new show with Gordon Ramsay. I'm not sure what the hell is going on with that.
It's top level chef now. Top level chef. There's three levels of like cooking, and he's like, screw you, and he throws the food like off the top floor. It's looks kind of cool.
Yeah, she's trying to DVR it all. And so what she do is she DVRs everything because her husband is watching football. And so she's like, I'm letting him watch football, but I need this DVR to record my shows. It's ridiculous, bro. And I asked her husband, I said, hey, I said, oh man. He said, what's up? I said, how come you don't know how to work this? He says, I don't want to see that stuff all day. Okay, fair enough.
So he's looking for an out. So
Yeah.
we do have a comment coming across the screen here, Luke, and it is my man Drew, and he says, "No offense, Luke." ... So we know that's going to be a bad thing here, but I don't like your team right now. Man.
It happens. You know what? It happens. And the Lions played the way that I thought they were going to play this whole entire season.
Yeah.
And they finally understood that the way to glory is on the ground. And if you pay attention to their successful games, the Lions were able to establish a run game, thus setting up the passing game, and the defense played. And this is how they are getting wins. And people don't see it. In fact, it's one of the things that drew me to our topic for today that I'm going to talk about, because I think it's something that needs to be discussed, and I'm sick of the false narratives that go along with it. So, you know, if it's okay with you, you want to get into it?
Let's get into it, boss.
Is it talent or coaching that wins games? I have literally lost my mind with the idea that it's talent. Talent is not what wins games. I'll say it again. For the hard of hearing, talent does not win games. For those people who may just need to see it in closed captioning, talent does not win games. We have had proof every year, year in and year out. And before somebody comes in here and says, well, it's football, Luke, any given Sunday, I call hogwash on that. Let's go down the list. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, is a very talented team. I'm pretty sure many of us will argue that they probably have one of the most talented teams in the league. Yet they somehow can't seem to find the end zone with a team like the Saints, who have a quarterback that most of us don't even know is even a quarterback. But you know what? We know that the more talented team did not win. We can go back a little bit back in history. Let's talk about the New England Patriots. They went undefeated, ran their way through the entire NFL nonstop, only to get to the Super Bowl against a wild card team and drop an egg. Why? Because the most talented team does not win. That is not what wins games. The Detroit Lions at 1-11-1, yes, right, 1-11-1, managed to outduel a team that was grossly more talented than them, allegedly. And the worst part about it is this. That team couldn't score a singular touchdown for 3.5 quarters and didn't get a field goal until after the half. I want people to stop with this idea that it's talent. You have to win games by talent. What happened to coaching? You remember when they were playing musical chairs with quarterbacks over there in Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh somehow had a guy named Dustin Duck, who I'm not even sure is even a real human being. It sounds like a made-up character from a Disney cartoon. But you know what? They still found a way to win with them. And in fact, if you just go over and look at some of the other things, you look at some of the other games where you had to talk about talent. I watched a Jacksonville Jaguar team demolish a Buffalo Bills team. Are you going to tell me Jacksonville is more talented than the Buffalo Bills? See, I've come to a conclusion. You can't have it both ways. Either it's talent that wins game or it's coaching. And to me, it has always been, and it will forever be, coaching. Coaching wins games. I've seen the worst of the worst teams do some things that they should not be doing, filled with all type of injuries. I'll give you a perfect example. Using my own team, the Detroit Lions. Can y'all name to me the players on defense that started in that game against the Arizona Cardinals? In fact, don't even waste your time. There was a guy named Will Harris who sucked. I'm going to say it again. He sucked as a safety. And they somehow thought, let's move him to cornerback. Huh? Where they do that at? That's some stuff you do in Madden when you ain't got nobody else to put in that position. And you put that person at cornerback and he performs against some receivers that he really should not be performing against. Why? Because coaching is good. Most of the players who play on the Lions, I couldn't even name. There's a tight end named Zisteria, which sounds like a medication you take on one of them commercials while everyone is smiling at the discovering they have the worst ailment in life. Even though the side effects tell you it's going to cause internal bleeding, 100% hemorrhaging, and it's probably going to rupture your spleen. But they're happy about it. They have great lives with this Zisteria. People, stop subscribing to false narratives. Good coaching brings up the best. The New England Patriots wasn't always the most talented team. They was always the best coach. And there's other things that you can look at going all the way to college sports. When you look at teams like Davis that had a small, yellow melanelin, beautiful young man named Stephon Curry, as he can come down and hit threes and nobody gave him a chance. Or remember the year of the Gonzaga? Why in the hell was Gonzaga beating teams that was not more talented than them? It's because the coaching is the most important part. And we have to destroy this narrative day in and day out. We see this come, we see this go, we see this happen. And the reality is the most talented teams don't win. And if you don't believe me, simply look over to the Rams, who has literally tried to buy itself a few Super Bowls, and it has failed. It has not worked out. In fact, they basically sold out, give up first-round picks every year, and have yet to yield a singular championship out of it. What wins games, people, is not talent. It is scheme, and that scheme is often created by the coach. Now, Buck is probably ready to pounce on me.
Oh, yeah, 100%. So I'm on the exact opposite. There's no question about that in my mind. So, Luke G, before I get into my spill, let me ask you a few questions here. Did you see the Packers-Ravens game on Sunday, or the highlights at least?
I did. I saw the whole game.
Did you see that pass that Aaron Rodgers made to the receiver over the middle? I can't think of his name right now, but the ball was put there perfectly.
Scanley?
Yeah, the ball was put there perfectly, right?
Yep.
Did Aaron Rodgers make that play, which is the talent, or did Matt LaFleur make that play, which is the coaching?
Well, Aaron Rodgers made the play.
Okay.
But who called the play?
Matt LaFleur called the play.
Yeah, but see, we can't keep passing go and collecting $200 without starting at the origin of it. It's not like these players are out there creating these plays in the dirt like it was back in the old day. No, somebody is creating a game plan to attack another person's weakness. That's not coming from the players. That's coming from the culture. So yes, was the play made by Aaron Rodgers to throw that ball perfectly over the middle? Hell yes, it was made by him. However, the beautiful play design to get the guy open was even more beautiful.
Well, the guy wasn't open. The guy was not open. That was perfect coverage. Let's just be honest about that.
I mean, listen, but in the NFL, that's open. I mean, the same thing happened with the Lions when they ran the underneath route with Amon-Ra St. Brown, and he threw it over the top. This is just good play design. I mean, I remember when the Miami Dolphins back in the day didn't have a quarterback, they decided to deploy the Wildcat. And it blew everybody up like this Wildcat. That's coaching. So before we get into who made the play, who called it?
Okay, so Luke, it is time to give you some real knowledge here. Okay, so I know that you are a coaching guy. So full disclaimer here: I am a defensive coordinator at a 6A high school here in Indiana. I give my kids the best possible scheme that I think that will win the game, right? So when they win, I would love to take all the credit, right? But I'm not out there making the plays. I'm not out there putting my body on the line, play after play after play. I am not reading. I can say watch screen, but I'm not in the game seeing the lineman let the defensive lineman go through and seeing the screen play, right? So the coaching can put the perfect scheme out there. The coaching can call the perfect plays. The coaching can move your safety to a cornerback because he thinks that the talent can play that position, right? So everything lines up to the talent taking over the coaching atmosphere. So yes, a coach might call a quote a perfect play, but the talent has to read the perfect play. The talent has to make the perfect pass. The talent has to catch the ball. The coach is only one aspect of a 8 aspect point of the play. The talent has to snap the ball. The talent has to receive the snap. The talent has to throw the ball. The talent has to run the route. The talent has to catch the ball. The talent has to put 17 feet down and make a football move to make it a complete catch. Hashtag Des Bryant still caught it, but we digress on that. So, yes, I will give you that the coaching puts in many hours. Yes, even at the high school level, I put in 8 to 10 hours a day watching film, trying to put my kids in the best spot. But at the end of the day, the talent will overtake coaching every time. So, who gets interviewed at the end of the game on a game-winning drive? Is it the offensive coordinator that say, "Oh, I called that perfect spike play"? No, it's Aaron freaking Rodgers because he threw a perfect pass to win the game.
But see, now you're getting into the politics of it, and this is the thing that blows my mind. Yeah, they're gonna go and talk to Aaron Rodgers, but the reality is this: that they don't talk to the coordinator. They definitely talk to the head coach. Right? So the head coach get talked to just as much, if not more, than the players. And the reason they talk to the players is because fans want to hear from the players, and they like that. That's just part of the politics of it. It's sort of like when you get donations and a charity. Yeah, most of the people in there you probably wouldn't even hang out with on a regular basis, but they gave money, so you smile and you brown nose with them. It's ridiculous, but that's what they do in a lot of these events. What I'm pointing out to you is this. Think about what the coach can do. Now, you as a coach yourself said you put in 10 hours a day, right? Which means that 10 hours a day, you're watching film, you're preparing everything mentally to get it there. And I see the comments in there where they're talking about, hey, the guys got to execute. All that's true. But how do they learn to execute? The coach puts them in a position to learn the problem. In other words, they're practicing these things. They're planning for different scenarios, and they're going through each one of these. Hey, if this happens, this is this. It's not just what happens when you're in the game. It's what happened in the offseason. It's what happened in the player evaluation. Part of being a coach is understanding a player's weaknesses and strengths. I'll give you a perfect example. One of the things that I've noticed when looking at some of the most bottom-feeding teams is they often put players in bad position. Here's looking at you, Urban Meyer, drafted a running back to play slot receiver and Travis Etienne, but that's not the important part. The important part is being able to understand that the hours that go into making sure you get it right is what makes sense. For example, we all love movies. Many of us have already seen or are going to go see Spider-Man, right? Do you think the actor just showed up and decided that, hey, this would be cool, backflip, woo, there go my web sling? Nope. Somebody coordinated the look to give you the feel that what he did was impossible and amazing. And that's the person who should get the credit. Yes, we all love the actors. Everybody loves Denzel Washington and The Equalizer and Denzel Washington as Malcolm X when he's portraying these roles. It looks great. What about the person who masterminded the look great, who created this direction to do it? Those are the people we are not answering to. Those are the people who are important. And to me, the idea of talent being the case, history tells us it doesn't matter if you have all the talent. A lot of teams have talent. They still don't win. Why is Cliff Kingsbury getting ready to go into another year where at the end of the year, he's fizzling out? It ain't got nothing to do with talent. It's coaching. And it's just the reality of it. If you see that you got a quarterback like Kyler Murray who's struggling, you can do some things coaching-wise to kind of help him. Maybe you run the ball and have him throw shorter routes to get him back into a rhythm. This plays a bigger part of it because, yes, we all have problems. Hell, I have problems. I do things at work sometimes that I've done 100 times, and then I get to work and it's like, how did I do this again? It happens. Right. Yes. So I'm just saying.
I see what you're saying to an extent, just because I've been on both sides. I've been a player and I've been a coach as well. So I've seen a coach that has taken all of the glory because, he's like, oh, that's my game plan. I put that game plan in, which is he's complete douchebag and got fired.
Urban Meyer.
But we'll go ahead and digress from that. But it is absolutely asinine to me to think that talent does not win games. So everybody in the NFL, or let's just broaden the spectrum here. Everybody in professional sports is a professional athlete at the end of the day. They have world-class talent to get them to where they need to be. Now, it is all about gelling as individuals. Coaching does not make you gel as a team. Coaching does not make you say, hey, Hopkins is my best friend and we think alike, right? You know, like coaching, you cannot force people to like each other. That's where talent comes into play, Luke.
Yeah, but you don't need to force people to like each other. You need to force them to understand the assignment, to understand the job. Let's get outside of sports for a moment, going to military. You think everybody in the military like each other and they true?
Hell
no. Right? So the goal is to be able to teach people to still get your job done, even if you don't like the person next to you. Your job depends upon the person next to you. Your success or your failure can be contingent upon the person next to you. And when I look at sports, I often see these moments where it's teams winning in spite of coaching, right? Like I watched it with the Dallas Cowboys and Jason Garrett. All the talent in the world should have did 187,000 things, but Jason Garrett was Jason Garrett. He's not a good head coach, a pretty decent offensive coordinator, but not a good head coach. And at the end of the day, the talent was winning. They was winning games in spite of the talent. And when they needed him to make coaching decisions, it just wasn't there. The decisions was not there. It didn't make sense. And we often do this. My issue is this. When games are won, we always want to point to how much talent it is. And when games are lost, it's the coach's fault. Right? Like the Lions lose. The Lions beat the Minnesota Vikings. And every Viking fan and media says time to fire Mike Zimmerman. But had the Vikings beat the Lions, it'd have been how great Kirk Cousins and Jeff. So we can't keep having it both ways. It's either talent that is leading to this, or is this. Now, I know that you can have two things be right. I know that you can say it's both. But if I did it based on the preponderance of the evidence, in other words, 51-49, it's coaching. And the coaching is what's going to make the difference. That's what's winning these games. When you have people coming out doing things like kicking the onside kick, catching them off guard, Philly special, which completely blew my mind. I'm like, what in the hell just happened? Right? And you're saying these different things, and you're like, okay, cool. I saw a play the other day where these people were acting like a guy was walking off the field, and he takes off, run up the field, and they throw it to a wide open receiver. That's all design and understanding psychological parts of it. Talent is great to have, but ask yourself, why is it that the most talented teams are not winning? I mean, Kansas City had the most talented team going into a Super Bowl, and they come out a winner in that game. Why? Because Tampa Bay came in and said, we got a better game plan. It wasn't that they was more talented than Kansas City. That's not what happened. You had more and more people jump into the fold, though, afterwards, but they was not more talented than Kansas City. Kansas City had the more veteranship of it. And if the most talented team always wins or always get the win and stuff like that, most of these teams I just laugh at because, you know, they go through all the trouble getting 13 wins, 14 wins, 15 wins, and get to the playoff and swiftly get exited first round. Like, come on. It's bigger than talent. You have to take something and turn it into nothing. Aaron Glenn right now looks like Merlin, okay? He looks like Merlin. I don't know how he's getting all of this out of that defense. With all the injuries, with all the people we're picking up from Walmart, Kroger's, and on our way to the stadium, how he's doing that. But that's a testament to his ability to coach. It's a testament to the head coach's ability to work hand in hand with his coaches and come up with a game plan that sets the team up to win. And when the Lions won, it wasn't people talking about how great the talent was, right? You know, I mean, how great the coaching was. They was talking about what Jared Goff did and what Craig Reynolds did. But when the Lions lose, it's all fire Dan Campbell. He sucks, and he's the problem. And Brad Holmes should have never been here. And so I'm tired of the narrative. I want fair representation, and I want to see it done in the way where it should be done respectfully. And I'm sick of us playing it at both ends. Like when the Lakers lose, nobody like the Lakers lost because LeBron James just played bad.
Right.
They just said the Lakers lost. But when the Lakers win, LeBron James can score 1 point. What a game. Did you see the dunk? He passed it. Look at this pass.
Yeah.
This guy's getting everyone involved, and I'm sick of seeing these narratives played out. I watched the Yankees for years spend money upon money upon money, getting the best team in MLB, only to not yield a single thing worth even talking about. Not even a World Series in those regards. I think it was one year they had the most cap spent and got put out of I think it was the Diamondbacks that put them out. I can't remember. I'm drawing a blank, but I remember they lost after having like this super talented team with all these people on there, and it didn't pan out to nothing. It's because you have to have the right plans in place to succeed. And to me, that comes in the form of coaching. That's what it comes in.
So let me ask you this question here. So right now, do you think Mike Tomlin is one of the best coaches in the NFL, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's say you put Mike Tomlin on the Jacksonville Jaguars right now with the same injuries and everything and COVID, et cetera, right? Do they have more than 2 wins with Mike Tomlin as their head coach?
Absolutely.
Why? Just because he's calling better plays, he has a better staff in place? Like, what is the thought process behind that?
Because he understands how to utilize the talent's strength. In other words, if I don't have the best talent, I need to figure out how to use what I have. And so when you look at things, I think when it comes to anything that's true, it don't have to just be to just one thing. It can go cross platforms. In life, sometimes when you're doing things in life, you have to figure it out, right? So, like for example, somebody accidentally spit some spaghetti sauce on some noodles with some meat. Voila, we have spaghetti. Okay, and these things happen. Or somebody somewhere didn't have the money to make something happen. And when you start to look at how they're able to adjust and create cuisines that was based on what they had, it turns into it. If I'm not mistaken, the pound cake was an accident. They didn't have a lot of ingredients for the other stuff, and they just made something else. And now we have pound cake. And I don't know about you, but I love pound cake.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying,
anything with
these
cake.
things, yeah, I mean, right. So these things make a difference. And when you look at Mike Tomlin, yeah, they're going to be more, because guess what? Urban Meyer had a poor attitude. I don't like you, so why am I going to play for you? I don't like the way you talk to people.
Right.
I don't respect what you're doing. They'll respect Mike Tomlin. This is exactly what's happening in the Detroit Lions. It's late in the year. I cannot remember the last time I saw a team play this hard beginning to end. Usually when the Lions just flat out suck, they get blew out repeatedly. We got blew out twice in games that came on short weeks. Okay, right? Like, I get it. But you go through and you put Mike Tomlin on Jacksonville. Now he understands how to utilize the strength of a Trevor Lawrence. He's not playing, let me see if I can take this running back and put him at slot receiver. He's not saying I'm going to trade my number 1 draft pick corner to a team for a tight end that's probably going to get cut at the end of the year and a bag of potato chips and a quart of juice. He's not doing those things. He's going to demand a certain level of respect. Again, we just talked about a guy who had a number of significant injuries to the receiving core, quarterbacks. Again, who in the hell is Dustin Duck? Can somebody tell me who this guy is?
No clue.
Like, I've heard of Darkwing Duck. I've heard of Howard the Duck. I've heard of Donald Duck. But who in the hell is Dustin Duck? And he was winning games with these type of people. And I'm just saying, we have to sit there and be honest about it. If he was on Jacksonville is way closer to 500 or above than they are to first overall pick. And that's just facts.
So the reason why I brought up Jacksonville, because I heard a very bold statement from a certain ESPN analyst this morning that said if he was a general manager for the Jacksonville Jaguars, they would be a playoff team next year. So
who said that?
It was the guy off of First Take. It was Grazianotti, or however you say his name. I can't remember. Yeah. He said he would not let Devontae Adams off the phone until he was on a plane to Florida and to Jacksonville. So
they got a lot of good selling points to get people to come to Florida. Let's be honest. The tax part is the biggest one, right?
Yep.
And on top of that, you also got the opportunity for them to pretty much be in the atmosphere where you get to have sun all the time. So I get it, but again, this is a team that I don't think is lacking talent. They just lack direction, and anytime you don't have good leadership, there's chaos. So it is what it is. To me, we just got to stop the narrative that it's talent and not coaching.
Yeah. So we will agree to disagree on this, Luke G, because obviously I think talent wins games. You think coaching wins games. But this is a story for another day. So, guys, that is going to be it for Luke G tonight. Luke, tell the people where they can find your show, man.
Hey, you can find me at Luke G's Fair Review on YouTube, where we talk all things Detroit Lions, and I have a free for all. I'm not just Detroit Lions. You can be a fan of any other team, and you can literally jump in the chat. I'll add you to the stream, and we just talk ball over there. You can find me on Twitter at Phil G's, and also on Instagram at Luke G's Field Review. So you know, I'm pretty much accessible. So check me out. Come watch some people talk football in perspective, without all the politics and the fluff, and just keeping it 100.
All right, guys, that is Luke G with Luke G's Field Review. Be sure to click on the list on the description below. Subscribe to his YouTube channel. He is on way to 3,000 subs, guys. So get him over there, that 3,000 mark, and we are right behind him. We are chasing that 2,000 mark. So, guys, subscribe, like, all that good